Obstacles are going to happen. Things are going to hit you. Life is going to hit you, unfortunately. But we grew up in this tight-knit community, my mother and I and my 3 siblings, where everybody knew each other. Everybody knew everybody's business. It was a fortunate and an unfortunate situation at times. I had the type of community where if I'd done something bad, the next door neighbor was going to whip my butt and take me back home and tell my mom what I'd done. We had the type of community where I'm knocking on the door. My mom said, "Can we borrow some sugar?" We had that type of neighborhood, right? But I'm sitting across the street one day. I'm about 16 years old. I'm about 16 years old. And before I get into that, a year before that, I was 15. When I said I had to make a decision, I walked in, it was a summer day. I walked into my kitchen and I was hungry. I played basketball a lot. I ran around the neighborhoods and with my friends, and one day I was hungry. I remember it vividly. I walked into the kitchen, and right before I got a chance to open up the refrigerator to grab me something to eat, the lights turned off. Excuse my language, I was pissed. And the reason why, I'm 15 years old. My mother had me when she was 14. She's a single mother, and I'm supposed to be the man of the house, as she would always tell me. So I felt as if I should have been able to do something. I was frustrated that things like this kept happening to us, and I'm having to see my mom struggle because I'm trying to do what's right and go to school. I'm trying not to do what all my friends are doing and do the street life. At this point in my life, I've seen attempted murder starting from age 8. I've seen all sorts of different things at this point in my life, and I've had enough. I've had enough. So when I made that decision to do better for myself, things started to happen. When I was 16, I was sitting across the street with one of my neighbors. She was an older lady, my mother's best friend's mother, actually. I like to call her my grandma. So I was sitting on the porch with my neighbor, and we had the type of neighborhood where the guys who were doing things that they shouldn't be doing rolled down the street in their nice cars real slow, banging their music real loud, and I thought the cars that they were in were nice. I thought that that's what I wanted. But a weird Hummer, black Hummer, this style of Hummer, I'm pretty sure the exact same year, rolls down my street real slow. Now, I hadn't seen one of these in person before, and I remember sitting next to the lady, my neighbor, and I asked her, or I told her, when I get older, I'm gonna get me one of those. And she looked at me clear as day. And this here was a really big part of my life. She said, "I hate to tell you, baby, but you're never gonna be able to afford one of those." See, I was always taught to treat everyone the way I wanted to be treated and treat my elders with respect. So I didn't say anything. But she didn't know a year ago when my lights got cut off when I was 15, I made a decision. I made a decision that I was going to change my life. I made a decision that no matter what anybody else told me, I was going to make it happen. So many years later, about 10 years later, I started, another company. I'm now older. I've started a couple companies, and I started a production company. One of the things that we done in the production company, or that we do, is we film events, we film weddings, we do photos, etc. But by popular demand, I was reached out to by a family member who told me that this couple has been together for 30 years, and they're now finally wanting to tie the knot. And they keep hearing about your company. They keep hearing about you, and by popular demand, they feel like they have no choice but to go with you. So I went and sat down with this couple. It was the same lady who told me that I would never be able to afford a Hummer. This is an exact photo. The day that I went to go to her wedding, we rode together in a Hummer. Listen, a stretch Hummer at that. Don't ever let somebody tell you that you can or you can't do something. When you make a decision to do whatever it is that you want in life, forget what everybody else is telling you. I advise you to focus on where you are going to and not what you are going through. You see, a lot of people are going to tell you that you can or you can't do something, but it's not always because they don't believe that you can't do it. It's because sometimes they have just never seen it done. They're accustomed to a certain culture. They're accustomed to a certain lifestyle. They have a circle of friends that tell them to live a certain way. They're in prison up here. So before I go to my next slide, if you don't remember anything else, No matter what you do, you can't accomplish it, but you have to be willing to put in the work. You have to be willing to put in that time. You have to be willing to say, no matter what happens, I'm going to make it happen.